So Mojo99, that's me if you didn't know, is back with some of you guys' favorite series on all of YouTube, or at least I hope it is. So looking back at such and such NBA draft class 3, 4, 5, and in this specific case right now, we're looking back at it 6 years later, the 2016 NBA draft class. Wait, is it 6 years, bro? News just came in that Mojo99 cannot do math. 5 years actually. Now, specifically speaking, Ben Simmons, oh my god. He's not looked at nearly the same anymore, and definitely not looked at as elite as he once was. I say that as if he had some catastrophic injury, but really he just had a cataclysmic playoff series that absolutely diminished and shattered his value. Now, I don't want to be too negative on Ben Simmons or too harsh because he already has a lot of people throwing, shots at his neck. And of course, I'm a Hawks fan, and you would assume that I want to do the exact same thing, but I just want to take a different angle on Ben Simmons, okay? None of us can't lie and act like he's still not a good, great player, and a player that a lot of us would love to have on our team. And depending on how your team was structured, he will make your team, your basketball team, a lot better than it previously was. The only issue with Ben Simmons is, of course, the lack of shooting, and also he seems to be a little frightened and shaken, and he just really did not have a great playoff series against the Hawks. But to get negative real quick though, because who doesn't love just a little bit of negativity? If you ask all the Ben Simmons haters and doubters from when he was first getting drafted, they would have been saw all of this coming. Again, the lack of a shot or even the willingness to take a shot. And also, there were so many reports of him back in high school and in LSU once he became a college student that he just didn't seem to care so much and didn't really show that much effort on a day-to-day basis. And if you ask any Philadelphia 76ers fan or a majority of them, they would say the same thing. It looks like he really doesn't care that much about being better at the sport that he was gifted to play. So if you were to ask someone just last year or 2 years ago, they would say Ben Simmons is the best player by far in this draft class. If not by far, then at least by a lap, bro. But now, these days, a lot of people wouldn't point to that at all. They point to the 2nd overall pick, or the 7th, or the 27th. Like, bro, I can just get in a whole tangent about Ben Simmons. I just hope that you guys understand and see that this man is still very valuable because of all his skills in transition. On the defensive end, there's not many people in the world that can defend the game of basketball better than him right there. There's just so many things that he's great at on the court, but just this one huge thing in skill and asset is just what's holding him back, and it's what's stopping a lot of teams from getting their hands on him. As far as we know, up to this date right now in the making of this video, he's still a 76er, and he's actually not answering the Philadelphia 76ers phone calls. And then a random report came out a couple of days ago talking about he just don't be on his phone like that, and he was texting Joel Embiid, and there's a whole bunch of weird stuff. And just know that hopefully, maybe 3-4 months from now, hopefully sooner, this man is not a Philadelphia 76er anymore, and he's off to some other place, like, who knows, bro, just showing people that he's still good at basketball, and he's only like, what, 24 years old? Before I end my Ben Simmons segment, I just want you to remember that yes, he was a Rookie of the Year. Yes, he was a not 2, but possibly, I think he was a 3-time All-Star off the top of my head, and also he's made all NBA defensive teams. Don't let just one series completely fool you into thinking that Ben Simmons is a bad player, because my friend, you are sadly mistaken, and you're too with the meme that he has become. Onto the number 2 overall pick, Brandon Ingram. Now I love Brandon Ingram, but one thing that I don't love about him, or not necessarily about him, but how people talk about him, is how a lot of people compare him to Kevin Durant. You know what I'm saying? Any 6'9", 6'10" dude who's skinny, has a versatility of moves and a nice offensive bag, you're automatically, bro, before you even get a chance to breathe, Kevin Durant, the next Kevin Durant is coming at you at 100 miles per hour, and scouts are gonna spam that, and that will spam for Brandon Ingram. And because of things like that, bro, one of my lights just went out. Give me a pause real quick. There we go, my vibe is back. Anyways, like I was saying, because of all the heavy and high expectations for Brandon Ingram, something that a lot of people quickly forgot was that this man was a mini project. He was, of course, 100% talented and skilled, but it was just going to take a little bit of time. And that was time that a team like the Los Angeles Lakers didn't really have because of the opportunity and situations that they were in. You already know how this goes. They got LeBron James, Anthony Davis is out there, bro. What the hell are we doing wasting our time with Brandon Ingram and Lonzo sitting over there in New Orleans? And then, yeah, Brandon Ingram just basically made his name for himself in New Orleans once he actually got real opportunity. Now, in his first year playing basketball with LeBron James, he did average like a solid 18, 19 points per game, but it wasn't a pretty or a basketball winning, quote unquote, 19 points per game as well, because, or 18 points per game, because they did miss the playoffs that year. But regardless of the fact, looking back like 5 years from now, Brandon Ingram was a fantastic pick for the Los Angeles Lakers. It's just kind of, it doesn't suck because they have Anthony Davis, but you know what I'm saying, things just didn't work out in both of these parties long-term favor. Delete that. What the hell am I talking about? Brandon Ingram literally just made an all-star team like what, last year? The Lakers, of course, won an NBA championship. This was a fantastic pick and move for like both teams. Now we move on to the third overall pick. Now, when I was doing research about the 2016 NBA draft and just laying down on my very nice comfy bed and just pondering about how things were back in the day when I was 16 years old, bro, sheesh, I ain't gonna lie. Speaking of 16 years old, everybody like loves to gloat about the year 2016 as if it was like the most lit years of their life. Supposedly it's the most lit year of everyone's life. Uzi was going crazy, All My Friends Are Dead. I think it came out that year. I don't know, bro. Just a whole bunch of lit songs. Travis Scott was going crazy. Apparently y'all were out here going crazy too, while my loser self was still sleeping on the floor when I was 16 years old. I just went into a whole depressing tangent. But anyways, like I was saying, focus on the subject, man. You're over here encouraging me going off a whole bunch of side tangents that I don't want to go on. Jaylen Brown was not supposed to be picked at pick number 3 because a lot of fans and scouts supposedly thought that Jaylen Brown was going to be available around pick 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8, and through 11 if things were to pan out that way. A lot of people thought the Boston Celtics should have capitalized on their value, bro. I was sitting here watching the, what's his name? Mike Korzemba, Biggest Winners and Losers video, just to get a grasp of how a lot of people were feeling back then. I watched a Crispy Flakes video, bro. If you know who he is, then you know you have a nice subscription box, especially if you subscribe to me. But Jaylen Brown, of course, back then he was compared to a lot of guys like the Kawhi Leonards and the Andre Iguodala's of the world, and it's turning out that he might. I don't think he's going to be better than Kawhi Leonard, but he for sure got off to just as good of a start as Kawhi Leonard did in his early NBA career. Jaylen Brown is a stud. He just made his first All-Star team just this past season. He averaged like 23 or something like that points per game, and he's become a damn near elite scorer in the NBA. That is so impressive for a lot of people to say and for me to see, because just 3 seasons ago, he was dribbling with his head down on the basketball court. It was that bad. And now look at him. I feel like a proud dad. Anyways, with the 4th overall pick back then, oh my gosh, I just realized that I messed up. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and put this clip right here just a couple minutes or seconds ahead. I said Chris Dunn was the 4th overall pick. My bad. He was the 5th. The 4th overall pick was Dragon Bender, and we're going to get to that in just a second. The Minnesota Timberwolves go ahead and select Chris Dunn. Now, I don't have too much to say about Chris Dunn other than, like, bro, he was just a straight up bust. A lot of people, when they saw Chris Dunn and thought of him as an NBA player and how he would thrive in the NBA, the comparisons were pointing towards, ooh, this is the new version of John Wall. John Wall was super popping back in the day. He didn't have the greatest shot, but he was ferocious on defense, a damn near elite defender, and also he had a big, strong body and he could finish through contact in the paint. Things just didn't end up panning out for Chris Dunn whatsoever. I'm not going to dive into specifics, but of course the Minnesota Timberwolves fumbled the bag, and Chris Dunn also did too. He just got, like, he was on my team this past season, and before that he was on the Chicago Bulls. And now, I forget what team he's on. I gotta double check that. Chris Dunn, what do you know, is playing for the same team as the 3rd overall pick, which is hilarious. the Boston Celtics. I completely forget. I think we traded for that man, and we had Tristan Thompson on our team for like 2 seconds, and then we like dropped him off too. I completely forgot about that. But that just lets you know how, I don't want to say depressing, but how much of a letdown Chris Dunn's career has been. Okay, that was just a second. Now we're gonna be over here talking about Dragon Bender. Now, just for a lot of y'all to know, just an inside scoop and just for more context for you guys to realize why the Phoenix Suns did such a thing. You know, back in the day, 2016, in the year 2015, there was a unicorn, Tingus Pingus. He came out, you know what I'm saying? He was the new modification that God decided to go ahead and drop. Because of Kristaps Porzingis' success, the Phoenix Suns were like, yo, this is another lengthy white boy who can shoot. We need that. So we can turn that into this, and that obviously just did not happen whatsoever. Chris Dunn hopping from team to team. Last time I checked, he was on the Golden State Warriors, then he played for the Milwaukee Bucks this past season, and now, honestly, he's probably not going to sign with another NBA team, and his NBA career is over. He is officially a big bust. 6th overall pick, Buddy Hield has been doing quite well in the NBA, if you ask me. He's become one of the best three-point shooters in NBA history, which is really crazy to say, but it's just straight up facts. He was one of the more prolific shooters and scorers back in college, and he's doing the same thing with his shooting in the NBA, and he even reached like 20 points per game at one point so far in his NBA career. He's been having a great career, and he's everything as said and everything as advertised from all these scouts back in the day. Now hopefully he just gets traded from the poo-poo show that the Sacramento Kings are, and he's off to some other organization playing really meaningful basketball games. Jamal Murray is one of my favorite picks and also one of my favorite players from the 2016 NBA draft class. He was picked at number 7 from, of course, the Denver Nuggets, and so far his NBA career, like I said about Buddy Hield, has been magnificent. He's just as advertised. He's that and then some. He's surpassed a lot of his NBA expectations, and he's reached and done certain things that absolutely nobody thought that he had the ability to do. You see that? You catch that wordplay. Everybody knows that he's capable of doing such things, dropping 50 and 40 back to back in like a playoff series, not a playoff series, playoff games. Everyone now knows though that Jamal Murray is indeed like that. Jamal Murray is him, but sadly he's gonna have to prove that he's him again once he returns from this ACL tear. And these days, people come off of ACL tears just like that. Kevin Durant tore his whole Achilles, and nobody can even tell that he went through that. I have no worries for Jamal Murray, and neither should you. He's gonna come out just as good, and he's gonna continue to do great things on the Denver Nuggets. These next 3 players and picks that I'm about to mention are quite disgusting. So disgusting that I don't want to even look at your face right now, bro. Alright, you ready? Number 8, Marquise Chris from the Sacramento Kings. Now, the Kings ended up trading him, and he ended up going to the Phoenix Suns, but still, like, Marquise was just not a great NBA player early in his career, but he ended up being just a little bit better for the Golden State Warriors, and then after that, Lord knows where he's at right now. Just know that he's not getting any big-time contract. Okay, after that, the number 9 pick, Jakob Poeltl. That's actually good. Jakob Poeltl is actually a good NBA player that, of course, I always say this just to vouch for him. I would like to have him on my NBA team. Jakob Poeltl never really had star power, but he just is solid. Get this, the 10th overall pick and one of the more like polarizing picks and surprising picks was Thon Maker. I remember this vividly. On draft night, there were rumors about this man not being like 19 or 18 years old like he said, and him faking his not his birth certificate, but him faking his passport and actually being 22, 23, and some people said some wild stuff like he was really 30 years old and stuff like that, bro. Y'all really believe that? I ain't gonna lie, I kinda did too. But a lot of wild stuff was said about Thon Maker, and he went from team to team to team. The Milwaukee Bucks attempted to make a big 3 of freaks of Jabari Parker, Giannis, and Thon Maker. I swear to God, I wish that worked out. Thon Maker was a straight beast back in all the 2Ks, bro, but he just never was able to put it together. So that was the 10th overall pick, and right after the 10th overall pick was one of the nicer picks, and still he's probably going to retire as one of the more underrated NBA players after his career is said and done, Domantas Sabonis. Now, he was originally selected by the Oklahoma City Thunder, But of course he got traded away and shipped to the Indiana Pacers, and there he's become an all-star, if I'm not mistaken, maybe a 2-time all-star, and he's now the face of that franchise, if you want to call him that. Some other noticeable guys from this 2016 NBA draft class are guys like Pascal Siakam. He was a steal. Another steal was Dejounte Murray. Super nice, bro. At least in the year 2016-2017. In the year 2017-2018, that was Ben Simmons. In the year 2016-2017, though, because of all the injuries and turmoil, that award belonged to the one and only Malcom Brogdan, who also could be the face for the Indiana Pacers. He was originally drafted by the Milwaukee Bucks, but of course, again, through if not trade, I believe through just a random signing, he was picked up by the Indiana Pacers, and he was thrown a big bag. And I just love Malcom Brogdan because he was damn near, if he wasn't 50-40-90, he was 50-40-90. He's a borderline all-star type player that I still can't believe the Milwaukee Bucks had on their hands. But I guess none of that matters because the Bucks went ahead and did their thing and won an NBA championship this year. This is where I think I end this video, and also this is where I thank you for giving me your undivided attention. I hope you go ahead and like this video, subscribe, comment, share this video to at least one friend. And outside of all that, I also want you to be aware that I have a Patreon now of just my everyday personal life, and I'm going to be posting there, of course, a lot more often once I go ahead and get my life into place. Go ahead, do all that, leave a like, comment, share, subscribe. Please leave a like. You can go ahead and boost my ego just a little bit more because my self-esteem is like right here. I'm just kidding. Am I really? Not really. I'm just kidding. Anyways, yeah, do all that good stuff, and outside of everything that I just said, I just really do hope that you go ahead and make your day great. Until then, I'll get right with you.
No way, remember back when I couldn't get a play, no home, I ain't have a place to stay, I got to work, made the surf, free the way, told my girl who'd ever thought.